Let's look at the secret sauce. I think of this in three layers. I want to pour this out to you and share with some of the things I've learned. Goodies, guidelines, and gourmet. The goodies are those main ingredients. It's just you don't have to understand them. You just do it, and it works. Remember the Karate Kid? Wax on, wax off. He didn't. You just do it. You figure out why later. It's like the trip up the mountain. You just do it. You figure out later that it was valuable. There are some things you do. You just do. And suddenly your presentations take off. They're twice as good as they were before, 3 times as good as they were before. You don't even have to understand why. We'll scoop out some of those. We're also going to pour out some guidelines. This is a little bit more nuanced. When you want to do this, when you don't want to do this, what not mix together, like sauerkraut and strawberries, or don't put chili powder on your ice cream. There's things you don't do together. Just avoid those, and there are things that you do. We'll talk about those. And there are some things we'll get into about gourmet. That's expert use. That's the understanding of these principles that kind of underpin all this. That's where the chefs are. They don't just copy recipes. They're creating their own because they understand, what goes together. I went to a restaurant one time. I won't say the name, but the chef was very creative. He had served us a cheesecake with a chocolate sauce. The chocolate sauce was laced with balsamic vinegar. He had this wild idea that this should work. This is actually not a good story because it was awful. I had to send it back. It was the worst thing I tasted. The only thing I could imagine was he thought he had the principle down. Apparently there was some sort of thing he could try to put together. It was nasty. So anyway, he almost was there, but he wasn't quite. I want to share with you some things that just really cognitive psychology and human behavior. How does this thing work? How do people learn? How do you kind of engage them? How do you circle around them and let them bring you into the group? We'll talk about some of those things as well. But first, let's look at the warning label on the back of the bottle. I'll let you read it. Okay.